Have you ever witnessed a moment of pure heroism, where the line between human and animal blurs in the face of compassion? Brace yourself for a heart-pounding tale of bravery, instinct, and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her child. On a sweltering afternoon in the subtropical forest, a desperate cry rang out from the muddy riverbank. A tiny baby elephant was struggling, trying to escape the fierce attack of a massive Komodo dragon. Its razor-sharp teeth had clamped down on the calf's neck, mud splashing wildly in the life-and-death struggle. The air was thick with tension as the young elephant's trumpets of distress echoed through the dense foliage. The scene was one of primal brutality, nature's raw and unforgiving side on full display. The Komodo dragon, an ancient predator with a bite more lethal than a great white shark, had set its sights on the vulnerable calf. Its powerful jaws were locked onto the elephant's soft flesh, determined to drag its prey into the murky waters, where it could easily overpower the struggling infant. From a distance, Daniel, a local man on patrol, heard the frantic sounds. The cacophony of splashing water, anguished cries, and the low hiss of the dragon cut through the usual chorus of jungle noise. Daniel's heart raced as he realized the gravity of the situation unfolding nearby. Without a second thought, he rushed toward them, driven by an instinctive need to intervene. As he crashed through the underbrush, Daniel's mind raced. He was armed only with a long stick and a small knife at his belt, hardly the ideal equipment for facing off against one of nature's most formidable predators. But there was no time for doubt or hesitation. Every second counted in this desperate battle for survival. Bursting onto the scene, Daniel took in the horrifying tableau before him. The baby elephant, no larger than a small car, was thrashing in panic, its trunk flailing uselessly as it tried to break free from the dragon's vice-like grip. The Komodo's scales glistened with river water and the elephant's blood, its yellow eyes fixed on its prey with cold, reptilian focus. Shouting loudly, Daniel slammed the stick onto the ground, creating sharp, threatening noises to distract the Komodo dragon. His voice boomed across the clearing, a human intrusion into this primordial struggle. The beast turned, hissing menacingly, but Daniel stood his ground. Years of living in harmony with the forest had taught him that showing fear could be fatal in such encounters. He advanced, throwing dirt and striking the ground until the reptile released the baby elephant and retreated into the brush. The dragon's retreat was slow and reluctant, its prehistoric instincts warring with the unexpected challenge from this bold human. Daniel continued his assault on the senses, yelling and creating as much chaos as possible to drive the predator away. As the last glimpse of the dragon's tail disappeared into the undergrowth, Daniel turned his attention to the injured calf. The baby elephant trembled, exhausted, eyes still wide with fear. Its breaths came in ragged gasps, the wound on its neck oozing blood that mixed with the mud caking its gray skin. Daniel knelt down, his movements slow and deliberate to avoid startling the traumatized animal. Gently, he began checking the wound, his experienced hands probing the extent of the damage. With careful motions, he pulled a clean cloth from his pack and began wrapping it around the calf's neck, stemming the flow of blood and providing some protection against infection. As he worked, Daniel spoke softly to the elephant, his voice a soothing murmur in a language beyond words. The calf's trembling gradually subsided, its large eyes fixed on this strange two-legged creature that had driven away the terrifying monster and now offered comfort. Suddenly, a new sound rumbled through the clearing, a sound that made Daniel's blood run cold. From deep within the forest, a massive figure emerged, the mother elephant. Enormous form dwarfed the surrounding vegetation as she pushed through, her ears flared wide in a display of protective aggression. Daniel's heart pounded in his chest. He knew all too well the dangers of coming between a mother elephant and her calf. These gentle giants could become unstoppable forces of nature when their young were threatened. He slowly rose to his feet, hands raised in a non-threatening gesture. The mother elephant approached slowly, her eyes cautious yet intense. Every muscle in her massive body was taut, ready to charge at the slightest provocation. Daniel stepped back a few paces to give space, but he did not leave. Something in him knew that fleeing now could trigger the elephant's protective instincts and lead to a disastrous outcome. Time seemed to stand still as man and beast regarded each other. The only sounds were the soft whimpers of the calf and the heavy breathing of its mother. Daniel remained motionless, his eyes locked with the elephant's, silently willing her to understand that he meant no harm. Then, unexpectedly. The mother elephant reached out her trunk and lightly touched Daniel, a rare and profound gesture of trust. The touch was gentle, almost tentative, as if the elephant was trying to reconcile the human's earlier aggression with his current calm demeanor. Daniel held his breath, overwhelmed by the magnitude of this moment. The elephant let out a low, rumbling sound, as if offering heartfelt thanks. It was a vocalization unlike any Daniel had heard before. Not quite a trumpet, not quite a growl, but something uniquely expressive. In that rumble, he felt he could hear gratitude, relief, and perhaps even a hint of apology for her initial wariness. Wrapping her trunk around her calf, the mother elephant began to lead it back into the forest. The baby, still weak but noticeably calmer, leaned against its mother's leg for support as they walked. Every few steps, the mother would glance back at Daniel, her gaze no longer filled with suspicion, but with something akin to acknowledgement. As the pair disappeared into the green shadows of the jungle, Daniel remained rooted to the spot, his mind struggling to process the incredible encounter he had just experienced. The adrenaline that had fueled his rescue slowly ebbed away, leaving him with a profound sense of connection to the natural world around him. That day, Daniel understood that words were not always necessary. Sometimes gratitude can be conveyed through a look, a gesture, and a heart full of feeling. The touch of the elephant's trunk had spoken volumes, bridging the gap between species in a way he had never thought possible. As he made his way back to his patrol route, Daniel reflected on the universal nature of a mother's love. Whether human or elephant, the fierce protective instinct that drives a parent to defend their child knows no boundaries. In the wild, where life and death hang in a delicate balance, this love is perhaps at its most raw and powerful. The encounter had changed Daniel in ways he couldn't yet fully comprehend. He knew that he would carry the memory of this day with him forever, the day he stood between predator and prey, the day he felt the touch of an elephant's gratitude, the day he witnessed the unbreakable bond between mother and child transcend the barriers of species. As the sounds of the jungle enveloped him once more, Daniel smiled to himself. In this moment of connection, he had been reminded of the intricate web of life that binds all creatures together. And in the wild, where every day is a struggle for survival, acts of compassion and understanding shine all the brighter.